Oh, you've caught me at an awkward time. I'm getting ready for church. So, I think you get the gist of this series by now. I sit here and defend a movie that is generally considered indefensible. Usually a film that, for all its faults, I can enjoy for whatever reason and give out 5 reasons in these videos. But if you'll allow me to get all philosophical on yous, what is good? Good means different things to different people. For some, it's measuring between quantity versus quality. But for me, it's simple.
Are you not entertained? No, little! Not you!
Am I having fun? Yes, then it's good for me. That is why I will defend Batman and Robin. Despite everything that can be rightfully hurled at this movie, if you combine this film, some good friends, and a few drinks, then a good time is had by all. And I'm going to name 5 things it definitely did right now. Mr. Freeze. It's a bit of a reach, but I'm going for it anyway. It can be claimed that Batman has some of the best villains in comic book history. Me, I make that claim. Some of the most engaging and interesting characters we've ever seen. And one of the most sympathetic in the roster is Mr. Freeze. In and among all this silliness, it still manages to convey the underlying tragedy of Mr. Freeze. And every once in a while, the film does manage to really tap into the almost fairy tale nature of Victor and Nora's story. Oh, you just know Tim Burton was livid he missed out on Victor Freeze. For all his villainy, his motivation is sadly relatable. He's trying to save the woman he loves. He's just, doing it in style.
All right, everyone, chill.
Your entrance was good, his was better.
The sets. So, I'll be honest and admit I had trouble finding 5 specific things to talk about. I can't really tell people to just get steaming and enjoy themselves. That's not quality critical content! So, I had to crowdsource this one on the Bad Movie Discord I'm on. See you guys on Saturday! And it's a place where the highest-minded people congregate.
I do know my Kung Pao. Oh man. He just left! We're nuts!
And the thing they all said they liked were the sets. The observatory, the laboratory, and Poison Ivy's lair. I feel inadequate. Yeah, it definitely has its cheap moments, but I still appreciate the exaggerated architecture drenched in this toxic neon graffiti. Really highlights the dystopian hellhole Gotham is. The 1% living it up, while the rest live in a dilapidated warrior-esque hellscape. Once again showing that no matter what the universe, Gotham is a toilet city. Aesthetic. What can I say? I love colour. The brighter the better. Bordering on the garish. So you can imagine how this movie speaks to me. Comics are a visual medium as much as the text. More than the text, really. And one storytelling device it has at its disposal is colour. Colour scheme, particularly for costume, has always been a big part of the Batman comics. Just look at the contrast between our hero and his main adversary. Batman is all about those aesthetics. Anyone who knows this film probably knows the ire it incurred, lambasted by critics and the public alike. And the nuclear fallout this movie created was something that was felt for years. That's why in the early 2000s we had a dearth of superhero movies that went for a much darker, grittier, dreary look. And we're still sort of in that fallout, with superhero films still shunning their more vibrant comic book origins. Boo! I wanted Hawkeye, the Move Avenger! So it's nice to see we're moving away from this affected pretense, and films are now embracing the gaudier elements of their roots. Costumes of the villains. Yeah, I gotta be very specific here. Some will never truly forgive the Bat Nipples. But you know what? Joel knew what he liked and he was willing to put it up on screen, and I respect that. But I will say, I don't care for the double standard. Hashtag free the nipple. But the villains are looking fabulous.
Thanks.
Starting with what's the weakest link? Bane. Batman and Robin doesn't do this character any justice, but visually, it's pretty solid. Extreme chastity belt notwithstanding, he practically looks like he's ripped straight from the pages of the comic. Then you've got Mr. Freeze. Those puns left fans cold, but his outfit is chilled to perfection. Okay, I'll stop. The suit's an interesting interpretation of older designs, and the little details they added, like the matching lights inside his mouth. I thought that stuff was fun and clever, and I liked it, so sue me. I think the best part is the makeup job. The faint glitter that added a subtle shimmer, it reminds me of black ice when it's hit by light. Cold and dangerous. Perfect for Victor Freeze. And then there's Poison Ivy.
I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me. Hey, Daddy.
Costume and makeup were working overtime. The glamour is ramped up. Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy is transformed into this caricature. And you can tell she is having a lot of fun with this flamboyant Mae West type of performance. Daft side anecdote, but I see the elements of this version of Ivy at conventions all the time. Those eyebrows are everywhere. So I'm not the only one who was loving the look Thurman was serving here. It just proves again that the good guys may win in the end, but the bad guys will always look better. Alfred. The actor Michael Gough was a constant in all 4 movies and was, for a lot of audiences, their quintessential Alfred. I obviously can't speak for others, but when I first watched this as a kid, I was honestly worried about whether or not Alfred would make it. No, not Alfred. Don't you dare! Comic book readers already know the importance of this character, but it was the first time moviegoers got to see the father figure role Alfred had to take on for Bruce, and how that shaped the man he became. He is the linchpin that holds the Bat family together. And those Bruce and Alfred scenes are so good. So, if not for the Batman and Robin Alfred storyline, we probably wouldn't have the more developed and predominant versions of him we had later on. The Nolanverse, Gotham, and even things like the Harley Quinn show and the Lego movie. Can you imagine anyone sincerely suggesting an Alfred TV show before this film? Well, that's the world we live in now, baby. Well, we've been on a wild ride, haven't we? I'm just here trying to have a bit of fun with my favourite bad movie, and I end up accidentally making the argument that Batman and Robin is one of the most influential comic book movies ever made. I still enjoy Batman and Robin, and I can watch it over and over again, and I love it for the good bits and the bad bits. And I think it was pretty humble of Schumacher to apologise. You're not meant to do that in Hollywood. But he would never have to apologise to me. It is like what I said at the beginning. When me, my mates, a good few drinks, and this movie get together, a good time is had by all. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a comment and maybe subscribe to the channel. And every like on this video will equal another turn on the rack for the Coke family.